Welcome to the Strizime. How we doing, everybody? We chillin'. We chillin', we vibin'. So one of my favorite things about Variety Wednesday that we've been doing so far is being analytical. I love being analytical of games and stuff like that. So we're here to talk about all the games that we've played so far. I actually got this idea from Dolphin because they made a tier list on their Discord about all the games that they've been playing, and I think that's actually a great idea. And then as we go on, we'll just add on to this list, and I think that'll be like something like we're gonna create like an overall list, right? And yeah, I just like ranking things, all right? In case you couldn't tell, right? My entire YouTube channel right now is just tier list stuff. I mean, who would have guessed, right? Dolphin, welcome to the stream. So yeah, we're gonna rank some games. We're gonna talk about them, and then later today we're gonna play Astrobot. That'll be the next game on the chopping block. This is the game. I think this is all the games that we've done so far. I think. Can't wait for Kingdom Hearts to be dragged. Listen, man, it's not gonna be fully dragged. I think you already know what tier it's gonna be in just by the names that I've put. I think you already know which tier it's gonna be in. It has its own tier. Okay. I have a suspicion. It should be pretty obvious. It's like I made the tier just for it. Okay. But yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna try to go in order, but honestly, I don't even remember the order of the games that we've done. Let's see. Variety Wednesday tier list. All right. Let's get it. The Wolf Among Us. This is Gamaf's game. He actually bought this game for me. This is the first ever Variety Wednesday game. Honestly, great start. It was a vibe. It was chill. I thought the entire experience was great. I loved the story. One of my favorite parts is that all of us were like kind of experiencing the game together, because it's kind of an older game, right? A lot of people in my chat haven't experienced the game, and the people that did, they enjoyed watching me react to all the stuff, right? I thought the story was great. The art style was fantastic. I love the art style. I thought it looked great all the way through. And it's an old game, like I said, but it still holds up like incredibly well just because of the art style that they chose. Shout out Taxi Driver Kratos. Yo, I forgot about that. Oh, man. God. I wish I had like an animation for that crap. That crap is so funny. That crap is so funny to me. God. Good times. We had a lot of good memes about it. It was just fun. It really was a good game. I think the only big criticism I have of this game, like seriously, the entire playthrough had a blast. I thought it was fantastic the whole entire way through. I probably would have been in That's Pretty Good if it wasn't for the ending. I think, and apparently this is a big thing for Telltale games. This is my first ever Telltale game. But my biggest criticism about Wolf Among Us is that it's always the same ending, which I feel like is a big bummer. Like, I know it's a lot of work to do a bunch of different endings, but like, I almost feel like my decisions didn't matter in the end. And it's a shame, because clearly this game had a lot of emphasis on the decisions you make changing the game, right? Changing the characters and how they interact with you. So I think having multiple different endings really would have helped that a lot. I felt like my decisions in the end just didn't matter. Like, everybody reached the exact same ending, and I think that's a huge bummer. I think it's going in solid for that. I know it's just the ending, bringing it down a whole tier, but I feel like an ending matters a lot to me, as we're gonna get into for Elden Ring. An ending matters a lot, right? And for this game in particular, I was really disappointed in the ending, I think. not necessarily that it was a bad ending, but for this type of game, I think it needs multiple endings because there's so many decisions that you make that change the characters throughout the story, like slightly in what they say and stuff. But I think it hurts replayability a lot that I can't, like, I was actually tempted while I was playing because I thought there'd be multiple endings. I was like, oh, I can't wait to replay this game, you know, in a year or so and get a completely different ending and see all the different routes that I could take. But there's not really routes, is there? It just, you get some different dialogue and that's it. So yeah, I don't know. I think Solid is still good though. I really did enjoy it. I don't know what was next. Was Halo next or Jump King? It might have been Jump King. Let's do Jump King next. I technically did not beat Jump King, but I thought it was good. Maybe Wolf Among Us could move to the bottom of that's pretty good. Because I do think Jump King is just solid. I don't really have much to say about Jump King. Jump King, I didn't finish because I figured we were already streaming it for, what, 3 weeks? And, you know, I just didn't want people to get bored of it. It was very podcasty. It was a chill stream game. I enjoyed talking to Dolphin and Murica throughout the game. I thought that was fun. Yeah, I don't know. There isn't really much to say about Jump King, is there? It's a, you know, it's like a Bennett Foddy kind of game. You fail and then you fall all the way back to the bottom. It's chill, right? Which I guess probably a lot of people wouldn't call this type of game chill, but I would. It was a chill time. I enjoyed podcasting through it. Not much depth, but it's fun. It's hype when you make the jumps that you haven't made before. I remember I made that one house jump first try, and America was like, yo, what? But then I would fail at like the easiest jumps, of course. Maybe Wolf Among Us is at the bottom of that's pretty good, though. I feel like the gap between these games is pretty big. Yeah, honestly, maybe this is right. Because maybe I could have loved this game if it had different endings. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe. I could always move it again later on. It's always hard at the start of a list, right? But yeah, I think Jump King's solid. There's not much to say. It's just a solid game. Let's see. Halo, I think, was next. Alright, moving on. I mean, is there much to say? I tried, alright? Giving myself a little bit of credit. I tried. This is, again, I don't have much, like, insight to give on to Halo. I think it's a good game. I just hate it. Like, I really do. Man, I mean, I'll talk more about it when I talk about Kingdom Hearts, when it comes to these games that, like, okay, like, this is not a bad video game. But I personally, like, this is a personal enjoyment list. I personally just hated it. And I tried. I really tried. Like, you could, if you go back in the VOD and see that first stream where I played this, I was really trying to get into it. I was really trying to enjoy. But, like, the gameplay was just not fun. So simply. I think, like, even just the act of aiming and shooting. Like, I don't even know why I don't like it. I think I'm just not a first-person shooter guy. I didn't grow up with them. And I really, really tried. I'm willing to try again with a different game. I know Abby recommended a good, I think it was Dying Light. I'm willing to try again with a more recent game. Maybe this game's just outdated, right? Oh, also Happy New Year. Oh yeah, Happy New Year. I keep forgetting it's New Year, honestly. You're stuck on that one part for so long, Lamau. Yeah. That game was bad, dude. I don't know. I think for the time it came out, it was still a good game. And you know what? I even appreciated its old graphics a lot. Like, I could tell it was a beautiful game for the time. Because, you know, I grew up in that period, right? All my friends are playing Halo. And yeah, it is a beautiful game for the time. And I don't even think its gameplay is just bad. It just didn't vibe with me, you know? There really isn't much to say. Like, I don't like it typically when I make, like, lists that are based on personal enjoyment for this reason. Because, like, like, what do I say? I just don't like it. But I respect the people that grew up with this game. It seems like a good game for the time, but I just hate it. I can't help it. I just hate it. I really tried. Like half of that stream was me really trying to hype up the game, and the other half was like a slow descent into like I'm just not having fun. You know, it's a shame. Let's see. Bloodborne might have been next. I feel like I'm missing a game. Am I missing any games, chat? Actually, don't know. But yeah, Bloodborne we could do. Bloodborne came out at an unfortunate... I mean, me starting to play Bloodborne came out at an unfortunate time because it was right in the middle of when Persona 3 Reload came out. I remember when I opened up Bloodborne, I was just like so butthurt that I wasn't still playing Persona 3 Reload. Bro, I wanted to do nothing but play Persona 3 Reload. Oh my god. If that was on this list, obviously that'd be the top of the list. That'd be above freaking God of War Ragnarok and everything. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I love that game. But obviously that's not a Variety Wednesday game. Bloodborne came out at a very unfortunate time. I remember Persona 3 Reload, I would play 7 days a week. I'd wake up at like 6 a.m. before work on weekends just to play more. That crap was crazy. But yeah, Bloodborne. So when we started Bloodborne, like, I was not ready to play a different game. My brain was in Persona mode. But that being said, my first Souls game, a lot of people told me that this was not a good first Souls game. But you know what? It worked. I got into the series this way and it worked. I enjoyed myself. Ooh. I'm wondering if it's probably a little bit too mean to put it in thought it was bad but had fun streaming it. Did I think the game was bad? No. It had bad aspects, but I didn't think the game as a whole was bad. Maybe that tier's a little too specific. It kind of is close to that tier. Welcome to stream, by the way, Abby. I can see it. So my biggest, there's a really funny clip. I love this clip, by the way. Very funny clip of me getting legitimately angry. I think it's like one of 2 times that I've ever legitimately gotten mad while streaming. Like I actually got mad because I was trying to pick up my souls because I died, right? There's like this mini boss, like optional mini boss thing. Or I don't even think it's optional. I think he's just there. And he is right next to like the respawn point, right? From when you die. So, you know, I walk out the respawn point and then the mini boss is still there, right? He killed me the first time. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to go quickly pick up my souls and I'm going to try to fight him. And that's the thing with Souls games, right? You got to pick up your souls. Otherwise, you just lose all your XP. You know, I've talked about this at length in Elden Ring. I just think it's kind of an outdated system. I shouldn't say bad. I should say it's an outdated system. I think games have grown far enough nowadays that I just think like that feels very archaic of a design choice, IMO, right? Where it almost feels like lives in old like games, right? Like in Mario or whatever. Like you don't need to waste people's time like that, right? Like getting a game over in a platformer, like who cares anymore? That's like an archaic design decision. I feel the exact same way about the Souls system in the Souls games, where like it really just feels like you made me lose all my experience for nothing, right? Like what was the gameplay benefit there of me losing my souls just to make me upset? You know what I mean? Like it's not like, and I get what they were trying to do, right? I get that they're trying to, and this is for all Souls games, it's not just Bloodborne, but this is one of my biggest issues with the series, so this will also apply to Elden Ring. Yeah, I don't know. So in that clip that I was just talking about, I remember just being like, this is just terrible. because in Bloodborne specifically, Elden Ring got a lot better about this, but Bloodborne specifically has insanely big runbacks, really annoying runbacks. Enemies are annoying. And on top of all that, as shown in that clip, you cannot turn off the taunt button in Bloodborne. Like, and I should also emphasize, the taunt button is the same button as the button to click your soul, to pick up your souls. So, you know, I'm spamming the pick up souls button, and I just so happen to freaking taunt. So I can't pick up the items. So I'm taunting while this mini boss dude is just kicking my ass, and then I just die and I lose all my souls. I don't even think it was that many, but I was more so mad at the fact that I lost him because of a very blatantly bad design decision to not allow you to turn off taunting. Like, what? Why would they do that? I looked all the way through the options menu, and then chat was like, no, you can't turn them off in this game. It's like, why? And why is it the same button as it is to pick up the souls? Like, what? At least make it like, I don't know, the pushing in the stick or something. Just so silly. Yeah, no. That was really bad. It feels wrong to put it in, thought it was bad, but had fun streaming it. But would I actually put it there? There were definitely some aspects of Bloodborne that I definitely disliked. But I'll probably put it bottom of solid. It's kind of teetering on the edge, though. I did still like streaming it, though. The first stream was really hard on me, though. There was quite a bit of learning curve for that game. God, it was really grindy, though. Yeah, I forgot. I spent a lot of time off screen just grinding. Yeah, and then health potions in this game don't regen. Yeah, Elden Ring really improved on that so much. I'm gonna put it in, thought it was bad, but had fun streaming it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I do think it's a fine game, but it just has like really blatantly like bad decisions on it. And I don't think the bosses are as good as people hype it up to be. They really aren't. There were like 2 bosses in that entire game that I thought were hype. And that was like the Wolverine kind of boss and the final boss. Like the guy in the wheelchair. Elden Ring, on the other hand, had a ton of great bosses. Like all the way through. Even if I think Elden Ring kind of struggled through the mid-game a little bit, I felt like the bosses were very consistently good. With the exception of the very final boss. Yeah. I mean, I liked enough about it to not say that I hate it, because I definitely don't. I still had fun streaming it. But yeah, maybe I do actually think it's a bad game. Fair enough. It's very grindy. The runbacks are bad. It makes you use a taunt button, which is the same button as the freaking pick up souls button. I don't know what the frick they were thinking. Yeah, fair enough, honestly. God of War was probably next, right? I loved God of War. This is 2018. God, what a great game this was. I don't think it quite eclipses I love these games. But it's definitely top of that's pretty good. I freaking loved this game. So I will say there's a little bit of a learning curve for me specifically. Because I felt like I didn't really get into its combat really. Like I actually didn't like its combat for half of the game. Until I actually started to get it, right? I think whenever the Valkyrie fights came in, I really just started to dig in, and I loved the combat so much. Obviously, the main attraction here, though, is the story. I loved Kratos and Atreus' story. I thought it was great. I mean, it was a startup for the game. I'm gonna get into it for Ragnarok, but God of War 2018 definitely felt more of like an initiation, right? We're starting off this world. Kratos is new. You know, it's like Kratos' rebirth, right? New world, new everything, new story dynamic, right? He's no longer killing gods. He's, you know, he's trying to become the dad of war, right? And I loved the father-son story that they decided to go with. I just felt like they did it a little bit more interestingly in Ragnarok, personally. That being said, 2018, still a phenomenal game. What would I say were its actual critiques? Because maybe I could put it at the bottom of I love these games. Ragnarok is just better, for sure. But like, I shouldn't compare it directly to that. I should compare it to all the games. And would I play God of War 2018 way more than Wolf Among Us? Yes. Yes. I would. You know what else is awesome? You know what else is awesome? 2018. God, man. God of War 2018. It was beautiful as well. Beautiful atmosphere, beautiful areas. I loved the world exploration. I loved all the characters. Freya was great. Atreus was great. Kratos was great. Kratos is fantastic. Oh my god. Kratos' fluff dialogue was the funniest crap in both this game and Ragnarok. Oh my god. Hearing him say, no. God, I'm like getting a little nostalgic, and I didn't even play it that long ago. No. Like whenever Atreus would ask him a question, no. I don't know, man. Kratos is mad funny. Kratos is my favorite character in these games. He's just so funny. He's a blast to listen to. Yeah, fair enough, honestly. I think the Valkyrie fights are so consistent. Maybe, I mean, more consistent than even the fights in Ragnarok, I think. Even though I think Ragnarok's better. I really, really loved it. Let's go right into Ragnarok. I basically played these back to back. It's funny, actually, technically, if you want to be technical about it, Ragnarok is not a Variety Wednesday game, but I wanted to play it so bad that I just played it on Tuesday instead. But I'm going to count it anyway. Ragnarok is obviously, I mean, I've said this a million times. This is going to be the top of the list. Spoiler alert. I loved Ragnarok. I thought it was great. I think once I got into Ragnarok, I was already used to the combat as well from 2018. And I just like everything in this game from start to finish felt like I was like enjoying a really good movie, right? I even enjoyed the puzzle sections. I actually thought a lot of the puzzle sections in 2018 were a little lame, a little boring. I just think the story definitely carried it quite a bit. Oh, that's what I want to say about 2018. Even the references to the old series, like when Kratos got his flaming blades back, I still enjoyed that moment, despite not quite getting the references of it. I thought it was a fantastic moment. It really was. It was pure cinema, like legitimately. I actually think that might have been the best moment, like singular moment in between both of these games. But Ragnarok is definitely more consistent. Like, I really felt like the entire game, I was loving it. I think the only cutoff point that I thought was a little bit like, listen, this is like something that makes this game like a 10 out of 10 rather than a 10.5 out of 10, to be fair. But I remember specifically when we did the Freya fight, and she was a Valkyrie, right? And Atreus like left you, and like there was all this crazy story crap going on, and then out of nowhere we go to this very like calm and slow forest, and we're traveling with Freya, and it just like, I think there was too much adrenaline pumping through my veins after all that story stuff, and then it just kind of like ended. Like, it didn't feel like it had a satisfying like cut in to that level. This is a very specific nitpick, to be fair. I still think the game's a 10 out of 10. I really do. I think it was phenomenal. I can't think of like basically my complaint is that it was too good and went back to calm a little bit too quickly for me. And that's my single complaint. That's what I remember. Besides that, it was just all 10 out of 10 moments. I loved the new girl character. I forget her name. Agrabah? No, that's not right. Angerboda. Is that her name? I think it is. Angerboda. She was cool. I loved Sindri. God, man, there's so many good story sections in this. Agrabah. Is it Agrabah? I think so. It started with an A. I remember that. She was cool, though. Odin was a great final boss. That's actually one of my issues with God of War 2018. I felt like the final boss was really lackluster. Like, I get it, it's Baldur, but I remember beating Baldur, and I was like, that felt like a final boss. But would they really make the final boss Baldur? And it was, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, it didn't feel like an epic final boss. Like, he had the stuff that makes him a final boss. He made you use all your tools in the journey or whatever, right? Like, it was a good final boss. But yeah, I remember being like, oh, that was the final boss? Okay. But Odin was great. Odin was a great final boss. God, remember at the beginning of Ragnarok when they did the fourth wall break and Thor ran up and said, "Oh no, I'm not finished yet," and he resuscitates you off the death screen to keep fighting you. That crap was fire. Oh my god. Welcome to Stream Silence. Do you know welcome to stream? Stuck at work, and I just joined to hear you say this masterpiece of a game is a 0 out of 10 because it had the audacity to end. Wait, what? 0 out of 10? No, it's a 10 out of 10. Oh, this masterpiece of the game had a 10 out of 10 because it had the audacity to end. That's not quite what I meant. No, it's like this very specific moment that I was talking about. Like, basically there was so much adrenaline in this section, and like Atreus just leaves Kratos, and then like it's just too calm. I wanted to see Kratos like freak out more, right? I wanted it to continue a little bit, right? Like, and then slow burn out. I felt like it burned out instantly. It's like you pour a cup, like a huge bucket of water over me while the flame is burning super hard. You know what I mean? Like, I get obviously there has to be calm moments, but like that was kind of out of nowhere. Like I needed to slow into the calm. I didn't need to just like instantly calm level. Like after the hypest moment in the entire game, that crap was crazy. But yeah, that's a huge nitpick. I mean, Ragnarok is definitely still the top of the list, no doubt. I mean, let me put it this way. Ragnarok is in my top 10 favorite video games now, which is crazy because most of my top 10 favorite video games are nostalgia games, right? Games I played through my childhood, games that meant something to me, or had a huge impact on me as a gamer in general. And Ragnarok did that while I'm freaking like older now, and you know, I'm very analytical, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't have nostalgia for God of War at all. I've never played a God of War game before this, and I think this is a great way to get into the series. I freaking loved it. I'm so excited for what is, you know, gonna be a third installment into this story, right? The Dad of War saga of Kratos. I love it, man. Kratos is one of my favorite video game characters of all time now. This version of Kratos, at least. I saw some clips from the old God of War games, and I was like, that's not the Kratos I know and love. You know what I mean? Well, should be goated. I'll quickly explain to you, since Gamaf was nice enough to gift me the game. I actually originally put it in solid, but I actually moved it up because comparing it to Jump King felt wrong. What is it? I thought the game, the entire playthrough was fantastic. I loved the art style. I loved the game. I think it holds up fantastically despite being quite a bit of an older game at this point. I thought it was great all the way through until the ending, and I thought that, and apparently there's a Telltale Games thing, but I don't appreciate that. I think a game that relies so much on its choices and its enjoyment should absolutely have multiple endings. I don't even agree that games should in general have multiple endings. Like, I don't even care that much about it. I just think for this specific kind of game where it's extremely story focused on your decisions specifically, your decisions should affect the ending. And I was really disappointed that the ending is the same for everyone. I felt like, oh, well then what's the point of playing a game, right? That's what I literally told myself, like, while I was playing it. I was like, man, I'm so excited. In a year, I'm going to come back to Wolf Among Us, and I'm going to get a new ending. You know, I'm going to do all different choices and stuff, see the reactions of these characters. But, like, it is disappointing, I feel like. I feel like replay value isn't there in a game that I feel like it has so much potential of replay value. And just seeing, like, all the new stuff, but, you know, it's all leading to the same thing, right? And it's not like gameplay is engaging by any means. It's not meant to be, right? It doesn't need to have good gameplay. It's a story-based game. But I just feel like if the gameplay is the decisions you're making, then those decisions should affect the overall ending. But anyway, yeah. Non-DLC, Elden Ring end boss is kind of lame. Metaphor end boss as well. Sadly, oh really? No, don't spoil it for me. I'm not there yet. I don't understand why my tier lists aren't saving. I have an account. I just don't know why they aren't saving. Not sure. I haven't played any of the God of War games, but I do have God of War 2018. Should probably hop on soon. Gino, it is incredible. Highly, highly, highly recommended. Highly. Honestly, I was about to put God of War 2018 into that's pretty good, but like legitimately, I think God of War 2018 also beats all the games below it. Like Ragnarok is good enough to deserve a tier above 2018, probably, but God of War 2018 is also better than all the games below it by a lot. By a lot. God, I loved God of War so much. Oh, fantastic games all the way through, seriously. I have 4 games in my top 3 this year. Elden Ring DLC, Persona 3 Remake, Metaphor, and Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Huge, huge. Yeah, some good games. Some good games, for sure. Alright. Let's gonna move on. Ragnarok was so good that it made me want to play it outside of Wednesday. That's how you know you got a good game, when you make me break schedule. I am pretty confident that Vampire Survivors came after Ragnarok. Actually, Inscription might have came before Ragnarok. I don't even freaking remember. Whatever. Vampire Survivors. What do I say about Vampire Survivors? It's solid. It's a cute little game. It was meant to just be like a small little thing to play in between big games. I'll put it above Jump King though. I like Jump King, but it's very simple, and that's the point, right? At least Vampire Survivors, you could actually play this game like infinitely. It's a chill time, right? Not a great like fantastic stream game, right? I think eventually people get bored of it. It's just a vibe, you know. You play it on your own. I got it on phone actually. It's a fun time. Not really much else to say. It is a fun time, a fun little grindy game. Very, very inoffensive. It just doesn't reach the heights of the games above it. Inscription! God, I loved Inscription. This might be a hot take. Listen, this is a personal enjoyment list. I know that's crazy. I was just talking about how 2018 is above everything, but like, I loved Inscription. This game was a freaking blast. Oh my god, I love this game. This game was so good that it kept me entranced, and generally as a streamer, like I really enjoy the games that keep all of the chat engaged as well. I know a lot of people weren't watching this, but like this game was so good that it kept me engaged the entire way through. Like, god damn, man. I really loved this game. Okay, so it seems at first like it's just like a basic card deck roguelike kind of game, right? And it is that at the start, but when you beat your first run, it completely changes. Well, not even that, like it's like they made us, it's like the roguelike aspect was a cop-out, right? It's just such a genius game. It plays on your expectations. It changes the entire gameplay of the game between acts. Like, there's like 3 acts to this game. God, there could have been more acts too. Oh my god, dude. There's so much to this game that I could just like gush about. It doesn't have the move-like quality, the movie-like quality of 2018 or Ragnarok, no. But I think like its pure enjoyment factor just beats out 2018 for me. Like, yes, it doesn't have like as much like, how do I put this? It doesn't have the biggest like pop-off sensations that I had during 2018, but consistently, Inscription just kept me entranced in its story and its lore, and its gameplay. I thought its gameplay was fantastic the entire way through as well. I just loved it. I love deck builders in general. You know, like Slay the Spire, Inscription. A lot of people tell me I gotta play Balatro already. I still haven't. Yeah, I love this game. I thought the story was great. How it plays on your expectations for this kind of game, I thought it was genius. When it comes to a fourth wall breaky kind of game, this is like up there, right? I thought it was so good. God, the freaking lore, and then like when you go between acts and the screen cuts out and you're watching like the camera footage videos of that guy. Oh my god. What a great game, man. I loved Inscription. Yeah, I like it. All right. Let's do Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts. I made this tier just for Kingdom Hearts actually. Would I put it above or below Bloodborne? I actually, the more I think about it, I do think Bloodborne's a bad game. I'm gonna get roasted for it, but there were a lot of situations in Bloodborne where I was like, this is just so blatantly bad. Whereas Elden Ring was a little more nitpicky whenever I came up with bad things about it. To be fair though, Kingdom Hearts is way worse. This tier was made for Kingdom Hearts, alright? Thought it was bad, but had fun streaming it. It's not an I hate this game. I don't fully hate this game, alright? If I played it without streaming it, I probably would have hated this game. But even streaming couldn't save Halo. You know what I mean? Even streaming it couldn't save Halo. I even played Halo with Dolphin. And like, playing with Dolphin or playing with any friends, really, will instantly make me enjoy a game 10 times more. Playing with friends, right? Halo couldn't even do that, alright? Alright? Kingdom Hearts, at least I had fun with chat and being analytical. And yeah, just like talking about like game design stuff and just like how funny it was. It was funny and it made the gameplay fun because of how bad it was. It was actually a so bad it was good kind of situation. Like the entire playthrough. I had a blast. I really did. This is actually one of my favorite stream games. But did I have fun playing it? No. No, I did not. This is Dolphin's favorite game though, so sorry if I'm roasting Dolphin a little bit. I think every single boss fight in this game was freaking terrible. I think there were 2 good boss fights, and that was the first, that was the Riku fight at the very end, and the first phase of the final boss, and then the final boss became the worst final boss I've ever fought in every game ever. The bosses are terrible. The sense of direction, I think, is actually the most blatantly bad thing about this game. I could not even imagine playing this game as a kid with no, like, guide or anything. Like, I don't know. Am I just dumb? Like, I feel like it's... maybe I just have a bad attention span, and I do have a bad attention span at this point. But, like, it feels like some of the decisions for areas you need to go to progress the story are just so silly. It was so funny. In the first stream, me and Dolphin were laughing our asses off. Because, admittedly, Dolphin shouldn't have been as guide-heavy as they were. So we toned it down for streams after that. But in the first stream, that crap was so funny. They were following a guide. They said, all right, go into the door, go back out, watch the cutscene, go back in, watch the cutscene, go back out, and then go fight like 3 random-ass monsters, leave out the door, and then watch the cutscene. Like, but like... I can't do it justice. Like, some of these decisions to progress the story, like, first of all, they feel like busy work. But on top of that, like, how are you supposed to know where you go? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, Dolphin, when you played this game for the first time, did you beat the entire thing without a guide? That's my question. Be honest. If you did, then fair enough. Maybe I'm just stupid. Like, did you actually beat the entire game without looking a single thing up? Go through the door, watch the cutscene, defeat 5 Heartless, go back to the Sid shop, watch the cutscene, go back to the door, watch the cutscene. I used a guide for some worlds, but not all. Yeah, that makes sense. You definitely don't need it for all the worlds, but yeah, like, there's definitely some really bad. The Tarzan one was the worst. Oh my god, the Tarzan one was the worst. The sense of direction in that world. Oh my god, it was awful. Apparently I didn't even play the worst world, by the way. Apparently the swimming level was the worst one. Did you use a guide for Vines 42? Vines was funny. The best part is, it isn't. You didn't experience the Little Mermaid world? Is that the worst world? That's hands down the worst world. Yeah, like, I didn't even play that, and I still thought the game was ass. But again, like, I really did have a blast playing it. Like, Halo, I couldn't even get past 1 stream. And I tried. I really tried for Halo. Kingdom Hearts, I still had fun. You know, if Kingdom Hearts will at least have something, the novelty that is the concept of Kingdom Hearts, I think, really carries the game, and I really do. This is an honest, positive statement from me about Kingdom Hearts. I think conceptually the game's great, right? It's cool, especially because Disney is so protective of their properties. It's cool to play a game in the worlds of the Disney characters. Conceptually, the game's genius, right? I think I would love to play Kingdom Hearts 2 eventually. I had enough fun playing it that I absolutely want to eventually play the second game. I mean, hell, I have the HD collection anyway. Why not? It did feel like there was so much blatant issues with it. The final boss was the most miserable experience I've ever had. And I had a pretty miserable experience with the final boss of Elden Ring, but it was not nearly as bad as Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts' final boss experience pissed me off. Like, Elden Ring was just disappointing. Kingdom Hearts actually pissed me off because it was literally just get lucky. And it didn't feel like there was any tells to the final boss attacks. Like, you just kind of deal with it, you know? God, that was so bad. Looking back, I don't know how I finished Far Cry 1 on hard after seeing Dolphin getting 360 no scopes all day. Same mechanics in the game are so bad. I actually like the flying mechanics. That was one thing in Kingdom Hearts. I actually loved the flying mechanics. I thought it was good. Apparently, a lot of people didn't like it. I actually wish there was like a kind of Ratchet and Clank 2-esque desert level, if anybody's played that. In Ratchet and Clank 2, they have this wide open desert where you explore the world. And, you know, you just fight some monsters and explore and find crystals and stuff, right? To get a bunch of bolts. I kind of wish there was something like that in Kingdom Hearts in the flying world. Why can't I remember the Disney movie? Peter Pan, right? In the Peter Pan world, yeah, I really wish that there was something. It didn't have to be exactly like that, but something to like explore and use the flying controls more, because I thought it was fun. It's a shame. Neverland actually was one of my favorite worlds. I think that's a pretty unpopular opinion, though. I think most people that like Kingdom Hearts don't even like that world. But I enjoyed it. I really did. I just wish there was more to explore and more to experiment with the flying controls. And that mixed with targeting being weird, plus bad navigation, plus a gimmick boss with 2 phases, both of which have different gimmicks, yeah. Oh my god, the final boss of Kingdom Hearts, it went on for far too long, dude. Like, if it was just one phase of the bad boss, fine. Like, okay, let me put it this way for anybody who hasn't played Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is like the very final boss of Elden Ring if they multiplied it by 10, right? Like, Kingdom Hearts, the first phase of the final boss was solid. It was solid. Right? I was like, okay, this is actually an okay boss fight, you know? Then they go into the BS phase. And I'm like, all right, fine, I can deal with one BS phase. But I swear, there was like 5 phases of BS, all right? There was like 5 additional phases of that boss that were all separately awful for different reasons. It was crazy. Do you not vibe with guns or not vibe with FPS games? Like, would you still play something like Enter the Gungeon, for example? Yeah, I like Gungeon. I think it's specifically FPS games. It's not like I'm against guns. I've played quite a few games with guns, actually. I think it's just the gameplay loop of FPS. I brought it up earlier, Abby, but I know you brought up Dying Light, I think. You think I should play? I'll put that on the next poll. Because I do want to try FPS games again. Halo just was not it for me. I'm always willing to try. I definitely am. But yeah, it really is just not for me, man. I can't get into it. Play Minecraft. I'm busy. Final was so dumb. The first 2 phases were cool. When it was a literal spaceship, it's stupid. It's pure RNG. Neverland, yeah. I'm not sure if you'd really like Dying Light or not, but I love it. Well, hey, I'm always willing to try games, right? That's the whole point of Variety Wednesday at the end of the day. You know what, though? As bad as Kingdom Hearts was, I did have fun. Maybe it is above Bloodborne. That feels a little wrong. Like, I think Bloodborne's a better game. But at least Kingdom Hearts has charm, you know? Kingdom Hearts does have good charm. I can't fight that. A win is a win. Let's go. Bloodborne did feel kind of sloggy quite a bit. It was so grindy. Kingdom Hearts Hearts did have aspects I really liked about it. I liked having to equip the healing items and stuff like that. The combat itself was actually fun in Kingdom Hearts. It's just the bosses were so badly designed that I didn't get to make use of the combat as much as I would have liked to. I heard Kingdom Hearts 2 is a lot better about that. So I'm excited to play that game for that. Who knows? Maybe Kingdom Hearts 2 will actually be solid, or that's pretty good. We'll see. We will see. I don't understand why these freaking tier lists aren't saving. I'm sorry. Bot and I are going to stream at some point. Ooh, sounds like fun. We could tie that into your Variety Wednesday so you can at least have a guide for it. I'm down. Let's do it. What is it? Let's go. Alright, and final game before we play Astrobot today. Elden Ring. I've already talked at length about both my positives and issues with this game. Despite everything, I actually still think it's above Wolf Among Us. I do. I nitpick games, I think, a little bit too harder when they are very popular. Elden Ring is a huge game, right? Everybody knows about Elden Ring. Everybody's played this game ages. People have played this game 5+ playthroughs. And that's part of its benefit, right? It has great replay value. So many different builds you could run. The bosses are almost all entirely amazing, right? I think like 90% of the bosses in this game, maybe even 95% of the bosses in this game are satisfying. Legitimately. I had a blast. I really did. I think it went on for a little bit too long. Honestly, this could have been an I love this game if the game was cut in half. I actually think the game was too long and had too much fluff. I think that's a legitimate criticism. I think a game can be too long. Like, and it's funny coming from a Persona fan like myself who plays like 100+ hour RPG, but like, it's different, right? That game feels like it's full on story the entire playthrough. Elden Ring, it felt like there was a lot of sections where it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just playing and there's not much going on, you know? I think Elden Ring's best claim to fame is those big boss battles. Those big story boss battles. And I loved every single one of them. They were consistently amazing, aside from the final boss. Consistently amazing. Seriously, I love these final bosses. I think the bosses, or not final boss, these bosses. I think the bosses in general, definitely up there for bosses that I've fought in gaming. I don't think they're quite as tight or as interesting as like the Hollow Knight, Godhome bosses. But I mean, you know, they're still like fantastic. Obviously, there's more depth to them, right? Because you know, it's a 3D game. There's more you can do. But, you know, I think that also leads to many multiple replay throughs with different sets and stuff that you could run. I'm only Omega critical of it because it's popular and because many people would put it like above Ragnarok, right? But, and even though I do like its gameplay, it still has a few of the things that I didn't really like about Bloodborne, right? Like, I still don't think the Souls system is very good. I think it's honestly a pretty blatantly bad design decision. And I kind of wish that they would try to figure out like a new system. That's just me personally. I know most Souls fans would disagree. But as a video game, like I'm not ranking this as a Souls game. As a Souls game, from the 2 that I've played, yes, it's the best Souls game that I've played, 100%. And it probably will always be the best Souls game, considering what I've heard about the other Souls games. Yeah, that's a good point though. I actually think this shouldn't have been an open world game. Personally. I think they should have focused in on the boss fights, kept it a little bit more linear, and gotten rid of all the fluff. I really feel like the game fell off quite hard, just by being boring. It's kind of a shame, because like, there's not many moments that surpass like the epic moments of the early game, like beating those first like big story bosses. Super hype moments, man. Really, really loved it. Getting better at the combat and just learning boss patterns. It's a blast. But I don't think world exploration is the developer's strong suit for this series. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's enough the exploration just doesn't feel that fun to me. I think Torrent helps a lot for sure, but it's a lot of bland exploration. I compared it a lot to Tears of the Kingdom, actually. Tears of the Kingdom, because, you know, it's another open world game, right? As an open world game, I think it fails a little bit. Like, it punishes exploration because of its own soul system. And, you know, putting that soul system into an open world game makes it feel a little bit hurtful. That being said, they have a really good bandage in place, and that's way more save points. There's way more save points in Elden Ring, and I think that instantly, like, it's a small change, but instantly that makes it 10 times better than Bloodborne. It really does. Bloodborne was too punishing with a soul system that I just did not think was good. So for Bloodborne, it was optimal to just grind. You just grind. You can't really explore in Bloodborne. Not really, because it's not worth it. In Elden Ring, you definitely are motivated to find more save points and stuff like that. More graces, I should say. I heard the DLC is a lot better for Elden Ring. I'm excited to play it. Eventually, I'm going to play it. Clearly, I will, right? If I said I'm going to replay through Kingdom Hearts, despite it being all the way down here, yes, I'm definitely going to play the DLC for Elden Ring. 100%. And I'm excited to play that. Who knows? Maybe that'll go into the I love these games category. I still think Elden Ring is a good game. I really do. I think its high points are really solid. I would not have played it for... This would not have been the longest running Variety Wednesday games if I did not enjoy my time with it. I had some good memes. I had some good clips. I had some good moments. I just think there was a little bit too much fluff. So I think that's the list. Oh, wait. Okay, I gotta say it. It has to be said, alright? This could have maybe been bottom of I love these games. Maybe. If it wasn't for that final boss, alright? That final boss disappointed me so bad. I felt so happy about the first phase of that final boss. I was like, oh man, that was such a great fight. I really felt like I gave it my all and won fair and square, right? Great fight. And then there's a big ass boss that comes out of the small boss, and nobody likes the big bosses. That's what Gamaf said. And it shows, right? The big bosses are not fun to fight against. Their tails are weird. The camera is bad. And it's just not fun. It really is just not fun. That's the biggest part of it. Say what you will about it being easy or hard. It's just not fun. So I'm not motivated to really dig into the fight because it's just not fun, right? So yeah, that was also disappointing. I concluded there's either a cap on how many images I can put. The tier list maker website doesn't like those images. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think that's it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I do think 2018 is probably above Elden Ring. I think I agree with that. I really liked 2018. I still thought it was a great game. I thought the story was great. The gameplay was great. God, that was another thing. Ragnarok had better bosses than Elden Ring. It actually did. The Ragnarok bosses were so consistent. Say what you will about the Valkyrie fights being better than the fights in, like, better peaks, but Ragnarok just had so many good bosses, many satisfying bosses. Ragnarok is far and above the best game on this list, IMO, in my personal enjoyment. I just had so much of a blast. I really, really did. God, I love that game. This feels about right. Yeah, it feels weird. I did not expect Bloodborne to go into the same tier as Kingdom Hearts, but yeah, the more I think about it, that feels right. You know? That feels correct. And Elden Ring's pretty good. Again, if I had Elden Ring when I was a kid, I'd destroy that game. I would find, like, every single little thing, but more so the case for Ragnarok and stuff. How do we like the list, chat? Anything that you hardcore disagree with? Let's talk about it. If not, we can just get right into Astrobot. I definitely do want to try more FPS games. I need to. I mean, Halo, you know, it is outdated, right? Maybe it's, And Halo was basically the first, like, big FPS game, right? So, you know, learning, that could be a part of the reason why I didn't like it. I'm not sure. I feel like I appreciate this list. It's funny to see Inscription up here with God of War, but I really do believe that to be true. I think I legitimately enjoyed Inscription more than God of War 2018. I freaking loved that game. I was entranced. I was entranced. I remember when I finished that first stream that I was like, all right, let's get to this next act. And I look at the clock and I thought it was only 2 hours. It was freaking 6 hours. I was like, what? What happened? And when a game makes you lose track of time like that, that's a good sign, you know? But yeah, that's it. We will continue the tier list as we play more games. I don't think I missed anything, did I? I think this is all the games. Friday, Wednesday. And yeah, it's good. People come and they go. Shmeezy. I think that should work. All right, let's get on to Astrobot, shall we? I'm going to stop the stream and start it back up. So that way we have a separate VOD for this. I think that's probably the better decision. All right, I will see y'all in just a second. Bye.